chosen one. You don't need to fight this battle. You are so tired. Not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix. It's a bone-deep, spirit-heavy exhaustion. You've been swinging at the shadows for so long, carrying the weight of a war that no one else can even see. Every morning feels like stepping onto a battlefield before your feet even touch the floor. Have you ever felt like you're fighting an invisible army all by yourself? I want to hear your real story in the comments below, because this space is for honest conversations. Putting together these stories takes hours of dedication. So if this channel brings you peace, you can buy me a coffee using the Ko-Fi link in the description. Your voluntary support keeps this space alive. Let's talk about the armor. You've been wearing it for so long, you don't even remember putting it on. It just became a part of you, piece by heavy piece. Every time life threw a punch you didn't see coming. Every time someone you trusted walked away, taking a piece of your warmth with them. Every time a door slammed shut just as you were reaching for the handle. You learned to block. You learned to strike back. You learned to survive. But survival is not living. It's just breathing while holding your breath. And lately, you've been holding your breath a lot. You sit in your car in the driveway for 10 extra minutes before going inside. The engine is off. The headlights fade. You just stare at the steering wheel in the dark, letting the quiet wash over you, because it's the only quiet you get, the only space where you don't have to perform, defend, or explain yourself. You are the strong one, the resilient one, the one everyone calls when their world is falling apart. They look at you and see a warrior. They see someone who can handle anything, someone who absorbs the shock waves of life and never loses their footing. What they don't see are the bruised knuckles of your spirit. They don't see the midnight hours where you stare at the ceiling, feeling the crushing, suffocating weight of everything you are trying to hold together. They don't know about the tears you swallow down, the tight ache in the back of your throat, because you convince yourself that crying is a luxury you can't afford right now. Because if you break, who hold the pieces? If you fall, who catches you? So you fight. You fight for your peace. You fight for your future. You fight for the people you love. You fight against the doubt that whispers in your ear when the house is dark and still. You are constantly at war. And the hardest part? It feels like you are completely alone on the front lines. You've been chosen for a path that is deeply, profoundly isolating. There is a strange, quiet grief in being the one who sees things deeply. You sense the shifts in energy. You feel the unspoken tension in a room. You carry the profound, heavy knowing that you are meant for something more, something bigger than the mundane cycle of waking, working, and sleeping. But that more feels like a relentless storm right now. Every time you think you've reached a clearing, the sky darkens again. Another obstacle, another sudden betrayal, another mountain placed directly in your path, mocking your tired legs. You start to wonder if you're doing something wrong. You ask yourself, why is it always so hard for me? Why does everything have to be a battle? You watch other people breeze through life, floating on the surface, undisturbed by the currents underneath. They laugh easily. They sleep soundly. And here you are, swimming against a dark, violent riptide just to keep your head above water. It breeds a deep, quiet resentment, a loneliness that settles into your bones like a winter chill that no fire can warm. You didn't ask for this war. You didn't ask to be the cycle breaker. You didn't ask to be the one to carry the generational weight, to heal the deep family wounds, to stand in the gap when everyone else retreated. But here you are, standing, barely, Your hands are shaking. Your spirit is frayed like an old rope pulled too tight for too long. You are terrified that if you let your guard down for even one single second, everything you fought so hard to build, everything you protected with your own blood and sweat, will just crumble into dust. You think it all depends on you. You believe, with every fiber of your being, that your hypervigilance is the only thing keeping the wolves at bay. So you analyze every interaction. You overthink every text, every silence, every shifted glance. You try to anticipate the next disaster so you can brace for impact. You map out every worst-case scenario so you won't be caught off guard again. It is exhausting. It is a soul-crushing way to exist, to treat every single day like a tactical mission, to look at the horizon and only see incoming threats. You are bleeding out from 1,000 invisible paper cuts, and yet you still wake up, strap the heavy, dented armor back on, and step out into the fray. You are a warrior. Yes, but even warriors need to lay their swords in the wet grass. Even warriors need to sit by the fire and let their wounds be bound. You've been fighting so hard, for so long, against circumstances, against people who misunderstood your heart, against your own mind, which can be the cruelest battlefield of all. And the truth you are terrified to face is this: you are running on empty. The adrenaline is burned away, leaving only bitter ash. You are staring out at a battlefield that stretches on forever, shrouded in a cold, gray fog. You can't even see the enemy clearly anymore. Everything is just a shadow. Everything is a threat. You are so desperately tired of being strong. You just want someone to look at you, really look at you, and say, "I've got this. You can rest now." You are waiting for a rescue. But instead, the silence stretches on. The wind howls. The armor grows heavier against your aching shoulders, and you grip your sword tighter, preparing for the next swing, preparing for the next hit, convinced that this is just your lot in life, to fight and fight and fight, until there is nothing left of you but the echo of the battle. Drop the sword. I know how insane that sounds. I know every instinct in your body is screaming against it. Your brain is telling you that if you lower your defenses for even a fraction of a second, the world will rush in and tear you apart. But just listen to me for a minute. Listen to the quiet beneath the noise. There's a shift happening, a subtle, silent changing of the guard that you haven't noticed because the sound of your own frantic breathing has drowned it out. You are not the commander of this battlefield. You never were. Imagine for a moment a child caught in the middle of a raging storm. The wind is howling, tearing at the trees, pulling the shingles off the roofs. The child is standing in the muddy yard, holding a tiny wooden shield, swinging a plastic sword at the hurricane. They are crying. They are completely exhausted. They are fighting with every ounce of their little heart to protect their home from the thunder. They think it all depends on them. They think their plastic sword is holding back the gale. Then a massive, unshakable figure steps out from the house. A parent. They walk into the center of the storm, entirely unaffected by the wind, and they simply wrap their massive arms around the child. They pull them against their chest. They cover them completely. The storm is still raging. The thunder is still crashing. The lightning still violently illuminates the bruised sky. But the child is no longer fighting. The child is hidden, protected, shielded by a force so much greater than their tired little arms. The parent doesn't hand the child a bigger sword. They don't give them tactical advice. on how to parry the wind. They just hold them, and they whisper into the howling dark, "I've got this. You don't need to fight this battle. That child is you, and that unshakable presence, that is the divine, that is the creator, that is God, stepping onto the battlefield that you have been trying to hold all by yourself. You have been swinging a plastic sword at a spiritual hurricane. No wonder you are so tired. You see, you were chosen. That part is absolutely true. You have a calling, a purpose, a deep and profound reason for being exactly who you are, right here, right now. You are a cycle breaker. You are a light in a world that desperately loves the dark. But being chosen doesn't mean you are supposed to be the human shield for every tragedy. It means you belong to something bigger. It means you are under a jurisdiction that operates far above the petty, chaotic skirmishes of this physical world. When the text messages go unanswered, when the betrayal hits you completely blind, when the financial walls seem to be closing in and the anxiety grips your chest like a vice at 3 a.m, your instinct is to strategize, to panic, to fight, to fix it. But what if the obstacle in front of you isn't meant to be destroyed by your hand? What if the closed door wasn't locked to keep you out, but to force you to stop banging on it, so you could finally rest on the porch? There's profound, terrifying beauty in surrender, not surrendering to the enemy, surrendering to the protector. It requires a completely different kind of strength, the strength to stand completely still when everything around you is chaotic, the strength to take a deep, slow breath, look at the towering giant of a problem standing in your path, and step back, to literally step behind the unseen force that is already moving on your behalf. God is fighting for you, right now, in the rooms you haven't entered yet, in the conversations happening behind your back, in the hearts of the people who have wronged you, in the intricate, invisible webbing of time and circumstance that you couldn't possibly manipulate on your own. You are trying to play a game of checkers, sliding your little plastic pieces around the board in a panic. Meanwhile, a grandmaster is playing a breathless game of the universe, moving mountains, shifting oceans, and rearranging the very stars in the sky to align your path. You don't need to understand the strategy. You just need to trust the Grandmaster. Think about the sheer arrogance of our anxiety. We lay awake at night, running through scenarios, believing that our human worry is somehow holding the fabric of reality together. We think our stressing is a form of control. It isn't. It's just self-inflicted torture. The battle is already being fought. The heavy lifting is already being done. The spiritual warfare you feel so acutely, that pressure in the atmosphere, that heavy blanket of tension, it is real, but it is not yours to win. Your only job is to stand firm, to hold your ground, not with clenched fists, but with open hands. Open your hands. Right now, just let your fingers uncurl. Let your shoulders drop half an inch. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep, slow breath in. Hold it for just a second, and let it out. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet. It is not shaking. It is holding you up. It has always been holding you up, even when you swore the earth was giving way. You do not have to have the answers today. You do not have to have the 5-year plan mapped out by tomorrow morning. You do not have to know exactly how the fractured pieces of your life are going to be glued back together. You just have to exist. You just have to be here, breathing softly in the quiet. There's a profound peace waiting for you on the other side of your exhaustion. But you can only access it when you finally admit that you are tired, When you finally stop trying to outrun the shadow and instead turn around, sit down in the dirt, and let the sun rise at its own pace, the sun will rise. It doesn't need your permission. It doesn't need your strength to pull it over the horizon. The earth will keep spinning, the seasons will keep changing, and the divine machinery of the universe will continue to operate perfectly and precisely without you needing to turn a single heavy gear. Your battles are being fought in the unseen places. Those people who walked away, let them go. The universe is clearing the stage for a new act, and they simply did not have the lines for the next scene. That opportunity that slipped through your fingers, it was a decoy, a distraction from the actual path that is currently being paved for you in gold and grace, just out of sight. The silence you hear when you pray isn't the silence of an empty room. It is a concentrated, heavy silence of an artist at work, a master craftsman leaning over the canvas of your life, making the microscopic, intricate adjustments that will eventually form a masterpiece. You just can't see the full picture yet because your nose is pressed right up against the wet paint. Step back, breathe. It is okay to be fragile today. It is okay to be quiet. You do not need to perform strength for anyone. The truest form of power you can exercise right now is absolute, unwavering stillness. Let the armor fall off. Let it clatter to the ground. It served its purpose. It kept you alive. But the war for your soul has already been won. The territory is secured. You are safe. You are profoundly, fundamentally safe. Even if the bank account is low. Even if the text thread is empty. Even if the house is entirely too quiet. You are held by something so fiercely loving, so immensely powerful, that if you could see it with your physical eyes, you would never spend another second in fear. So you can rest. Actually, truly rest. You can sleep without keeping one ear tuned to the doorway. You can walk through your day without constantly scanning the perimeter for threats. You can allow yourself to simply experience the quiet, mundane beauty of being a human being who is fiercely loved by the Creator of all things. You are the chosen one, but you are chosen for peace. You are chosen for grace. You are not chosen to bleed out on a battlefield that isn't even yours. The night is getting late, and the world outside is finally quiet. I hope, wherever you are right now, that you can feel that quiet settling into your own bones. I hope you can feel the heavy burden lifting just a little bit off your tired shoulders. You are seen, you are deeply understood, and you are never, ever walking this road alone. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. Thank you for listening, for being open, and for trusting me with your time. If these words brought you a sense of calm, please take care of yourself tonight. Drink some water, close your eyes, and rest.